finished with the interior portion of the chest, and now we're going to move into the heart. So the first thing, in my vital signs checkup, I already listened to the apical pulse, and I found that from the midclavicular line and the fifth intercostal space, and I listened to that for a full minute. And I did not hear any gallops or any problems with that. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to listen to the other 5 heart sounds, and I'm going to, while I'm doing that, I'm going to use the diaphragm and the bell, so I'm able to listen to the vascular and the heart sounds at the same time. Now I'm checking for any murmurs, bruits, or gallops. So the first point I'm going to go on to is, I'm going to move this. I'm going to go aortic. And then I'm going to use my bell. Then we're going to go pulmonic. Then I'm going to use my bell. Then we're going to go to Erb's point, as well with my bell. And then we're going to go to tricuspid with the bell as well. And then we're going to do the mitral. And I'm going to listen with the bell as well. I did not hear any murmurs, bruits, or gallops. So all her heart sounds are fine. And so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to assess her abdomen. I'm going to have you lay this way. That way they're able to see. Do you need a pillow for your head for comfort? Make sure your patient, you're fine. Make sure you just scoot over a little. Yeah, like that. I think you can see fine. Okay, so make sure your patient is safe, comfortable. Did you have any issues with moving up and down? Do you feel any dizziness or lightheadedness in the saddle? No. Okay, so we're going to assess the abdomen. The first thing we're going to do on the abdomen, you have to assess it in a certain way. So the first thing you do is you inspect the abdomen. Just with your eyes, you don't touch me. So I'm going to look at symmetry, the contour of her abdomen. I don't see any edema, no lesions. And then you're going to want to take your pen light. You're going to look for the aortic pulse and the waves. Okay, and then next you're going to see where the umbilicus is. So you want to make sure that the umbilicus is midline, it doesn't have any lesions, not like overly big or too small. And then the next thing you're going to do is you are going to auscultate. So I'm going to listen to the bowel sounds with the diaphragm of my stethoscope, and I'm going to start in the right lower quadrant, and I'm going to work clockwise. And once I'm done doing that, I'm then going to use the bell of my stethoscope to listen to the vascular sounds. I'm going to listen to the aortic valve, the iliac, and then the renal. And then I'll also listen to the liver and the spleen. So I'm going to start first with the bowel sounds using the diaphragm. And you want to listen to clicking, and usually you listen to at least up to 5 minutes per quadrant. Okay, so her bowel sounds are heard. They're normal. They're not hyper nor hypoactive. Next thing, I'm going to turn my thing around and use my bell. And I'm going to first listen to her aortic valve. The iliac. And then the renal. And then I'm going to listen to her spleen. And then her liver. It is all normal. So now that I'm done auscultating, I'm going to percuss. And I'm going to percuss starting at the right lower quadrant and working clockwise again. And you want to listen to any sounds such as resonance. Oh, I'm sorry. I have to start with. Okay, so timpani is heard, and I'm percussing with this, and I'm going 1, 2. Timpani is heard, which is something you do want to hear in the vowel sounds. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to palpate. I'm just going to do light palpation to we're going to watch her face for any grimacing, any guarding, see if she has any pain, and also you might be able to see if she has any masses or any lesions. So you want to watch their face, and also you'll be able to feel them kind of like constrict. Did you have any tenderness there? In any other area? No. Okay, good. I didn't even see her grimace or anything. So the abdomen is complete. I'll have you sit up for me. Maybe you don't have to put your legs around. I'm gonna have her sit up. Are you fine sitting up? Do you feel fine? Yes, ma'am. Okay, go ahead and scoot all the way back just for the video so you're able to see. Yeah, so you're able to see both of her feet more better than when she was laying down. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to inspect. I'm going to inspect her feet. I'm going to look for any edema. I'm going to look to see if her skin is intact, if the color, I don't see any discoloration. I don't see any signs of vitiligo on the lower extremities. I don't see any, also hair, if it's not, it's mainly for men. They have like shiny, if the skin is shiny and it's hairless. But her skin is not shiny or hairless. I mean, it's hairless because she's a woman, but it's not shiny. I don't see any varicose veins. Her skin appears to be intact and normal. And then the next thing I'm going to want to do is I already checked for edema, and then I'm going to palpate. I don't feel any edema. And I'm going to palpate her temperature with the back of my hand again. It is warm temperature. And then I'm going to make sure, I'm going to do her, I'm going to test the strength, her muscle strength. So I'm going to have you, I'm going to do it this way. If you'll push towards my hand, okay? Now push, yep, okay. So her strength is equal bilaterally. She has no deficit in that. Then I'm going to have her do the heel to shin test on both legs. It might be easier if you're laying, sorry. All right, perfect. So that test is the cerebral function, and there's no cerebral function deficit. So then next, I'm going to do, I'm going to assess her pulses. I already assessed them in the first vital sign check off, but I'm going to assess them again. I'm going to assess her dorsalis pedis, 2+, no thrills, bilaterally, and then I'm going to assess her post-tibular. Okay, 2+, no thrills as well. So then the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to have her go ahead and go slide your legs over. Oh, yeah. Do you feel fine?
Yes.
Okay. Are you in any way, do you feel dizzy or any issues?
No.
Okay. So here I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do, let me try to turn it on down. I'm going to do her tendon reflexes. So I'm going to do with this, I'm going to do her deep tendon reflexes on the leg. So whenever we get to the Achilles, I'll have her slide back so you're able to see. So I'm going to do her patellar. It kicked. Patellar. Okay, now slide back so I can get your Achilles. Okay. That one definitely kicked. Okay, and so then next we're gonna I'm gonna have her stand up because she's gonna do the Romberg test. I'm gonna try to, yeah. And first thing we're gonna do, will you turn around please? I'm gonna assess for sacral edema. I'm gonna use my pen light. No sacral edema noted. And then so if you'll turn back around and see, look at the camera. This way, this way, this way. Okay, now what we're gonna do is I'm going to have you close your eyes and do a T pose. Okay, you're going to want to make sure you're standing next to your patient to make sure they don't fall. And you're going to look for any swaying. I don't see any swaying. You can go ahead and open your eyes. And the next thing, if you'll back up here, is I'm just going to have her walk normal. You're just going to see her balance and her gait. Go ahead. Not holding on. Perfect. Her balance and her gait is fine. And now we're going to do the heel to toe test. Okay, that is normal as normal can get. All right, and I believe that concludes my head to toe assessment. Thank you. Goodbye. Have a good day.